What I want to teach the next generation of young girls is that you can be in the world, you don't have to become a part of it.
Hey everyone, welcome to Catholic Girl Talk. I am back. It has been a lot of months, but I have a super special guest with me today, Alexandria Schumaucher, and she's going to talk about Catholic women in the workforce, so super important topic.
Alexandria Schumaucher here. I was vice president for a contract manufacturing firm. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's plastic injection molding and assembly. A lot of engineering. It took me about 6.5 years to get to that point. Didn't start there. Went to college in Minnesota and flunked, admittedly. College was not for me. Finally started nannying for 3 families and then worked in retail at the same time while I did continued education classes in college. And I applied for a customer service job through a family friend in the contract manufacturing realm. And that's where my career started. Well, I remember my first day walking in as customer service. I'm wearing, my cute little skirt, my boots, have my hair all curled, and I'm walking past one of the production leads, and the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "What the F word? She's just a kid." Now, I had not been exposed to such a rough environment. I had been, homeschooled my whole life, very protected from, the harsh reality of the world out there. And for me, it was just kind of like, oh no, like I had to somehow prove myself.
Yeah.
Well, during that time, I did prove myself, but I was able to really hold true to who I was, the gentle spirit, the nurturing soul. I didn't let go of any of that during the process. Was it hard? Absolutely. I mean, you're working in an environment that it's very draining on people, so sometimes, the worst comes out. And then having to manage all the different personalities, different avenues in life. After about 2 years of doing that, I was like, you know what? I am really tired of being the dumb blonde chick behind the desk who can't answer any of the engineering questions. So I asked the president and vice president if I could create a new role called account management. So the account management role got into that where I started selling for the company and traveled around to fix quality issues, all that good stuff. Then the culture started to go downhill, and that's where people started to get abused. They just weren't being treated fairly, and I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. So I left. And I was like, you know what? I'm going down the hospitality industry. Moved down to Orlando, Florida, and was a hostess for 9 months.
Wow.
It's like going from, 6-figure salary to $12 an hour.
Yeah.
But I didn't care because I knew what my end goal was. I wanted to open up a chain of luxury boutique hotels down the road that would ignite the imagination for people. It'd be a safe haven for individuals to come to where they go back to the root of who they are.
Yeah.
Then I was asked to come back to the company as vice president. So moved back to Minnesota and ended up running as vice president for about a year and realized that, again, okay, this wasn't God's long-term plan for me. Working on the luxury boutique hotel industry, and it's not something that I'm very familiar with, but, sometimes God asks you to go down past that.
The unknown.
The unknown, exactly. Trusting Him to kind of guide me through it.
So when you first entered that environment, how you said that was just such a shock to you, especially coming from a really wonderful Catholic background. So how did you first learn to deal with it? What were some of those struggles as you first got into it?
Well, I did go to daily mass when I was working, and that was basically to start the day off like that.
Yeah.
It just put me in the right frame of mind to deal with the hurdles throughout the day. It was definitely a culture shock, but what I really loved when I look back at who I was in that customer service role, I was very innocent, very pure, and what comes with that is you don't really recognize a lot of the stuff that's going on around you. It doesn't penetrate because you're so happy nothing. You don't know. So you're just like, you're going through life, you know, just learning, soaking all of it up. And that's exactly how I was. As I started to delve deeper into the industry, then all of a sudden it was like, you start to see the ickiness and the just different lifestyles that don't really align with your core values. And I could tell I would get very dark when I started to like sit and think about it. There were a lot of great young adult groups because there weren't a lot of Catholics in the industry that I was working in. My family, they also were a big support when they would see, you know, maybe changes in like who I was becoming, and they would kind of like draw me back in, remind me of you know, my roots. What I want to teach the next generation of young girls is that you can be in the world, you don't have to become a part of it. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of people in the workforce who want to bring you down to their level. It's not that it's a bad level, but if you're striving for something greater, it can be very hard for others to comprehend. The little things that I had to do to protect myself from falling into the trap of, doing what everybody else does. As a businesswoman, by staying true to my core values and how I had been raised, when I would walk into a room, in a conference room full of men, they would all treat me with so much respect. None of them would swear in front of me. They didn't know why, they didn't know who I was, they didn't know what my background was, but they could just feel the presence of a lady in the room.
That's incredible.
That's powerful. And when you can have that kind of power without saying anything, not a word, I mean, it gives me goosebumps. I'm like, wait, whoa, what's going on here?
Amazing.
If you do little things just to help you, again, go back to the root of who you are. I go to the movie theater and go see children's movies. That's my way of going back to like that innocence and purity of the child by myself, just to embrace that moment. And then, okay, I can go back out into the world. I can be a child for a little bit, nourish myself, and then go back out into the world to fight the good fight.
Yeah, I loved what you touched on there, like that key of like some people in your life who are able to keep you on the right track, especially when you're surrounded by, you know, something so contrary to who you are, because then like once you have that home base, so to speak, you can go into and evangelize. So once you entered into that more evangelistic like, mind frame, what did you see like shift?
And when that started happening, I wasn't afraid to just share. Like sometimes you don't have to have the idea that you're going to evangelize, that you're going to make people be like you. All you have to do is just share, and that joy just makes them like drawn to it.
For sure.
So what we did, you'll never see this. You will not. If any of you see this in a manufacturing firm, I'll give you $500. Okay?
Comment below.
Yep, $500. We put a huge nativity scene out on the production floor. Now, if any of you have been in a manufacturing firm, you've got these, you know, several ton presses. It's not an environment where you put a nativity scene. But this was actually done by the employees for me, where they recognized how special, you know, Christmas time was, that they ended up, it was a life-size, like right in our material handling area.
It's like hot out here, but
right? So then imagine when we're taking customers on a tour, what that did to them. To all of a sudden walk by and they see this huge with like beautiful flowers and roses. It was amazing. And then we started celebrating, you know, like St. Nicholas Day and Our Lady of Guadalupe for the Mexican community. All of a sudden, it's just like these little things that, you know, people, they weren't afraid.
That's amazing. That is such a beautiful witness. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
I think that's going to touch so many people. Follow me on Instagram at Catholic Girl Talk for the latest news and hear about our new series coming up. Thank you all for watching, and have a beautiful day, and God bless.
God bless.
I think it looks good.
You were so cute. I'm like, wow, she's got the makeup and everything. I look like
Catholic women in the
workforce.
Okay. She's gonna talk. And wait, this is what I always say at the end when I don't say it. I get really annoyed.